Yeah. This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Let's go!
Hey everybody!
Hi guys.
We're on holidays at the moment.
Oh, I'm loving it.
and
Sick.
loving it.
We've gotten a collection of some of the finest work that we've done throughout the year. Oh, guys.
And then we padded it out with some rubbish.
Don't undersell it, Nate.
Yeah.
Don't undersell it.
And this, of course, being a live broadcast. Today's best bits are all about...
From the Vault 2018.
Couldn't have said it better
Yeah.
myself.
Oh my God, right to the point you are.
Enjoy.
This is Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
We're so lucky. We're sitting right in front of Ed Sheeran.
Oh, he's sitting in
He's
front of
right
us.
here.
Hi, Ed.
Hi,
How you doing?
Hey,
Ed, how are you?
Hey,
mate?
Ed. Thank you. You know what? You care about Perth. Thanks.
I like Perth, and
I
this
know.
is a really nice new stadium. I did the other one last time I came.
Yes.
You did the arena?
Yeah.
And NIB,
No.
NIB Stadium.
NIB, yeah. I
Yeah.
thought that was actually the one I was coming back to do this time. Yeah, it wasn't
Look
until...
what we did for you. Hey?
Yeah. Well, they must have been building this last time.
Yeah,
though.
they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got so many great lights out there. Unfortunately, you're paying the electricity bill. Do you know
Yeah.
that?
I'm sure there's a lot of bills we're paying as well. Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Ed, we can't wait. We're coming along to see you. Obviously.
Yeah, I hear one in 5 people in Perth are coming.
Yeah,
That's
that's
amazing.
Control.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Nathan's
just
in the standing room. Me and
Yeah.
Nat are in the seating, so we're absolutely pumped.
Yeah.
sweet. You said you're quite tall though.
I'm
Yeah.
tall.
At least you'll be able to see.
I mean,
yeah.
they're not going to be able to do a jig during Galway Girls, so...
No.
No.
You know what I mean?
We'll have to struggle on.
Yeah. We want to talk to you about the fact that a few years ago you talked to us about this powerful Nandos card you got, right? We did an interview
Yeah,
with
yeah.
about it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How's this? Just after that, they sent us one.
We got one.
Did they?
It was amazing.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to talk about you've got a
Do you
great
still have yours?
position.
No, I haven't used mine since 2013. I went off on tour with Taylor for a year and then
Yes.
came back and it had expired. And I remember going into a Nando's with the expired one, and then before actually going to pay for it, I was like, this is a bit weird that I'm still doing this. I don't need to be getting free Nando's, so I just stopped.
But don't you reckon, though, your job impresses a lot of people, but that card was in another level? Because anytime anyone saw that we had that card, it was like we had a backstage pass to life.
Yeah.
Did you get that reaction from your friends?
Yeah, I did actually. I had when I bought my first house, Nando's sent down a the trucks that you open up the side.
Yeah, like that food
they
truck
have
kind of
a
thing,
food
yeah.
truck. Yeah, they sent one of them down for a housewarming, and I remember my mates being really impressed that I had
Okay, that's
Nando's
next level.
in my garden. Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
I bought 20 chickens once, but that was the most I bought. 20 whole chickens.
Really?
Yeah,
She just
catered
bathed
for
in
party.
them.
For a party.
Yeah.
See, I feel like the whole chickens are actually a difficult party food. It's quite a bitty party food,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
No, but they cut them up beautifully. They split
Yeah.
them apart rather than...
Oh, do they?
They were happy about, the guests
Oh,
were happy
yeah,
with
yeah.
it.
Anyway, that's enough talking about them. We didn't get our cards renewed.
Do you know what?
No, we had it for 2 years, then they were gone.
Yeah.
But the power we felt, mate.
But
it was like
Nathan's
being
still
a
got
president.
some on credit on his card, and I'm trying to get him to use it on behalf of it. But we
I mean,
can't get him to
Nando's
go in
isn't
there.
that pricey though. It's not like you guys can probably swing a
Oh,
Nando's.
no, we can,
It's the
but
principle.
Once you
Right,
don't
yeah.
pay for it, there's no going back.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
Like
we
travelling in
we
business
talked about
class
it
or-
enough. They should probably
You're
give
right.
you,
Yeah,
give you
yeah,
another one.
yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Ed, when you're cruising around, WA, but more so on the East Coast, do you get any downtime? I know you like to sneak off to a few pubs here and there.
I usually do get downtime. There was going to be downtime on this tour, but honestly, it went a lot better than
kept selling out more
Yeah,
shows.
it went better than people expected. So I've only really got a day or 2 days off between shows. So and the thing is, if I go mental
Yeah.
and lose my voice,
Yeah.
I've then got 4 shows to do. There's no
Yes.
time to actually. So this is actually. There's no wood to touch, but
Yes,
touch
there you go,
wood.
floorboards.
Going to be one of the only tours I properly
You're
behave
like a
myself.
proper grown up. Do you have
Yeah.
a whole heap of stuff you take for your throat? Do you have
No
secret remedies or anything?
No,
or?
I just drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
And try not to go out.
Yeah.
Try not to. I've stopped smoking, and that's
Oh,
actually
okay. Yeah,
that's
that's
actually
good.
really helped.
So, when you're at your hotel room, do you just watch Netflix and stuff? What do you do?
No, what did I watch yesterday? I got into those top 10 lists, top 10 foods that have been discontinued, and 10 things you didn't know about this fast food restaurant or this fast food. So I know a lot about the McSpaghetti now.
McSpaghetti, never heard of it.
Spaghetti?
Never
You
heard
know
of
a
it.
lot more
Actually,
than
it's
we do.
discontinued.
And now you mentioning it is going to get it back put out on the menu.
No, I don't think anyone wants that.
So that
back.
was spaghetti at McDonald's, yeah?
Yeah, they have it in Philippines though, and I'm going to
Okay.
Manila.
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah,
to
right.
Manila, so I might try it. It doesn't look great.
Yeah.
I have to be honest. There's probably a reason it was discontinued.
Yeah, sure. Now,
so when you're at a concert, right, do you look out into the crowd and see anything strange ever? Is there anything ever odd that you lock onto?
Festivals, you get odd naked people. There was
Sure.
once a dude completely stark bollock naked standing on his mate's shoulders like that, which I found quite impressive.
Well, if he's doing the helicopter,
But
it's
you're
impressive.
thinking, would you have your mate with his doodle on the back of your neck?
Well, that's what I thought. It'd be quite an awkward get down because it was just kind of
Well, it
like,
depends, unless it's just like wrapped around like a scarf.
Yeah.
yeah. No, it wasn't that impressive.
No,
It wasn't that
no.
impressive.
Like, unless
it was
it's
a
that
cold
impressive,
festival.
don't do it.
It was a cold
Yeah,
festival.
yeah. Now, a little bit jet lagged.
Oh man, horrendously.
Isn't it the worst?
Yeah, well, usually I'm not clever with it, so I just
Okay.
like get here and I would go on an all-night bender,
Sure.
and then I'd get in and sleep, and then
Yes.
I'd be adjusted. But because I'm kind of
Behaving
behaving, and
yourself.
I thought yesterday, right, I'll stay up all day and go to bed at 11, and then I woke up at like 1.
Yeah. What do you do? Like, is then you just turn
Watch
the TV on?
top 10
Yeah,
lists.
it's terrible
I watched a
television.
bunch of them.
What is it called? The
Mixed
mixed spaghetti.
Yeah.
I'll have to
Yeah,
remember
it's
that
on.
one.
There's like WatchMojo.com. There's one called Mashed, and there's like the top 10 lists of things.
I reckon you're never more alert than at 1 o'clock in the morning when you've got jet lag. Isn't it? It's cruel, isn't it?
Yeah, but the problem was when it got to like 5, I
Yeah.
was actually tired. I just
Yeah.
couldn't sleep because then the sun was up. So yeah, it's a weird jet lag's.
It's horrible.
Jet lag's weird, but I should adjust. I should adjust. I got loads of this thing called melatonin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have you written a jet lag song? Like, not a song
I-
about
Yeah,
jet lag,
yeah.
but a
A
song
bunch of
while-
Whilst you
times.
jet lag.
A bunch of times. One on my last record,
Yeah.
the first song. I actually wrote that in Perth, and that was a jet lag song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
righto.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Creative time.
When you are cruising around the place, you can't get any time to yourself. With everybody following you around and trying to get a piece of you, do you ever get used to that?
No, it's getting weirder and weirder as well, I think. But I mean, yesterday there was a bunch of people following, but it makes sense to me because someone said, "Oh, but 1 in 5 people in Perth come to the concert." So I'm like, "Oh, of course, Perth news
Yeah,
and
but-
paparazzi are going to come." So it does make sense. It's just I feel odd about it
Yeah,
because,
it'd
like,
be weird.
I don't know. I'm perfectly happy doing press time, but
Yeah.
it's a bit weird.
But you're one of
Yeah.
those approachable celebrities. Everyone
Yeah.
plays your music so much here in Australia that people feel like they know you. You're really relaxed in your interviews. Everyone, I suppose,
But like
feel
Adele, when you meet, like when you go to an Adele concert, you feel like she's your best friend.
Yeah.
And you're a bit like that too.
Yeah.
You just come across as really normal.
Cool. I mean, it's good, and it means that people are always friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
sure.
are never rude in Australia, which is something that
Yeah.
I think if I had press and paparazzi following that were rude, it would be
Yeah.
hard. But they're usually friendly. I don't know. People are just doing their job, but
Yeah. I know.
I am allowed to avoid them as well if I
Yeah.
want to.
Have you been followed by a drone?
Well, this is a weird thing, isn't it? Like a drone's is it illegal for a drone to fly above your property? Do you
I
own
don't-
airspace? Because like I have
Yeah.
drones all the time going above my
I
house.
don't know what
In the
the
UK.
laws
Yeah.
have caught up here yet.
Yeah.
Because if a drone comes across above your house, you're just hoping it's one of those ones that's going to deliver a pizza. So you're actually, hey,
Do they deliver pizza? Because
they're starting
they
to
do.
try
They're
it here
talking
in
They use them
Australia.
to drop drugs into prison in
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
England.
seen that.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've read
Yeah.
books like that. I was also wondering, is it easy to get back to being normal and hanging out with your mates? Because I'd imagine, like, sometimes I look at my phone list and we've met some great people along the journey, and it's strange that you know these people.
Because our friends get our phones and go,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, that's amazing."
You know what I
Are
mean?
you angling to
Do
get
your
Ed's
friends do
number?
that?
Well, I have a very, very tight knit friendship group. I'm actually on tour with a bunch of them now. They come on tour with me, and I don't really hang out with anyone aside from that. I mean, every now and then I'll go out for a dinner with someone mental, and it will
Yeah.
I'll still have the little buzz of being like, oh wow,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
out. But like I don't really I don't know. I don't really waste my spare time chasing fame. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would much rather spend my spare time with people that I grew up with and.
Yeah.
Like, not that I don't like the kind of fame world. The fame world is you get a buzz from
Yeah.
it, but like it's like if I didn't have a hit single
Yeah.
tomorrow, would it be there? Kind of thing.
So your friends that you travel around with, your entourage, which one would be Turtle?
Probably Zach.
Put your hand up, Zach.
Where's that? Hi, Turtle. And lastly, everyone talks about your tattoos, right? Have you tattooed someone else?
I've tattooed a few people, yeah, but I meant to.
Were
Apparently,
they willing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're meant to have a license, I think.
That's
Sorry,
okay.
mate.
Well, Ed, thanks so much for coming to Perth again. You're sick. Your music's awesome.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I hope you guys
Looking
enjoy the
forward to it,
concert.
Yeah, that'll be great, even though Nathan has to stand up.
I'll be standing. I'll wave.
It'll all be kind of young girls. So they'll be all very short, so you'll be able to have a very clear view,
Oh, yeah.
and you'll be blocking some poor little fans.
I'll be standing in front of the I'll be making them stand behind me, so it's fine. Yeah, yeah.
The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Maggie Dent is in the house. We're so happy to have her back for the first time in 2018. Let's go to Kelly in Butler. Hi, Kel.
Good morning.
Hi,
Kel.
Kelly.
Kelly, what's your question for Mags?
I've got a nearly 9-year-old daughter who's a twin, and she likes to do everything perfectly, and if it doesn't go right or well for her, it's total meltdown. She has a lot of competitive sport too, but that's not the issue. It's when she's doing stuff for herself, and just like they're very like if she's drawing a picture or something and she makes a mistake, she gets very, very angry. It can literally take hours to kind of talk her down.
Oh.
Yeah.
And we tried the yelling, the screaming, the calming, the nice stuff, and it's about 6 months now, and it's just not getting better.
Yeah. So this drive within her is kind of inbuilt into her temperament and her nature. So just always know that this is just who she's turned up with. So we have to help her to be able to manage that a little bit better.
Yeah.
We wish some kids had a bit more of a drive in that direction because the opposite end is as lazy as poop and
Yeah,
anything.
The whole that'll do generation.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
true.
Maggie, does the fact that she's a twin make it worse?
Possibly, but I think she's just her own self
Yeah.
in this particular
And
space.
she's a redhead as well. So that's
Yeah, so
Fiery.
yeah, that probably makes her once again. Okay, so what happens is when she lets herself down. So you don't even have to put pressure on perfectionists, and they just do it themselves. So when they let themselves down, they're absolutely furious at themselves. So what she's got is that dose of big ugly feelings towards herself, and she's disappointed herself. So she really does do inner processing and attacking herself around that. I guess my big challenge to you is that you don't deal with it in that moment. Let that big ugly feeling fly out. Let her get really, really frustrated and crabby and stomp her feet and do whatever. What you're now needing to do is to do some coaching when she's not in that space.
Yep.
And that is that's actually natural to feel a little bit disappointed when we don't do as well as we want to. What other strategies can she say? Well, what can she say to herself? In that moment, that's automatically a trigger. Well, just now, that's as good as it was. Or I haven't got my lucky undies on today. Or something that might lighten her up. You've just got to find a trigger that turns it off before it goes into that galloping place.
Okay.
And also, I do lots and lots of games where she learns to fail a lot. Like go back to do noughts and crosses on in front of you so that she gets used to failing because failing triggers a lot of this. So it's a sense of failing. So we don't do as much of that now because a lot of
so
kids going on
say if they're like doing a competition, does Kelly go in your face when she like fails, like just to like in your face?
You suck.
Would that help?
Possibly not. And of course, this goes back to why we changed Pass
You
the
really got
Parcel,
this.
and not everyone learnt to lose and suck up under fire.
Used
So
to disappointment.
we have to talk to our children around disappointment and that she's got to manage this. And she is 9, but we really need to kind of have those lovely strategies built into her life because we do know that it can, in adolescence when the turbo emotions happen, it can get worse.
And that's what's worrying us.
You've got to,
I can imagine.
but she's 9, so you've probably got a year and a half.
Good luck.
Excellent.
Good. Go for it.
All the best
All
for that,
right.
Kel.
Yeah.
From one Kelly to another, this is Kelly and Karen up. Hello.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Hi,
Good, Kel.
Good, Kel. What's your issue for Maggie?
I have an almost 4-year-old who is a million miles a minute from the nanosecond that he wakes up, which is often quite early in the morning. He rushes at everything and as a result is a little bit uncoordinated and clumsy.
Oh.
And with that has developed some sass as well. So he threatens to tell my work friends when I ask him to stop doing something. He growls at me. Tells me off quite frequently. And I'm just wondering how I can get him to slow down.
Okay.
You're in massive
So you need
trouble,
help with
Kelly.
your sassy little uncle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So
He's
Kelly.
adorable, but yeah.
So, Kelly, I'd probably check out my website a little bit around what roosters are and what their innate nature is, and he sounds very much like that. Very much driven, lots of energy, actually really can tell us what we're doing wrong as a parent, so they argue a lot. They want to win a lot. They're just a little bit more than. But my other side to it is the sass. The sass is what happens around 4, particularly for boys, because there's a new download of testosterone around 4. So the sass is coming from a lot of testosterone, which gives him that attitude. So please don't fight it. He didn't ask for that testosterone. And in the heat of the moment, he doesn't even know he's doing it. So again, work on what are your moments that he knows he's really loved and adored by you, those quiet moments that we have a cuddle on the couch or, or eat in bed or whatever. So you actually have to fill his love cup. so that the sass will settle down and of its own accord after the testosterone settles down. And you need to help him basically manage that high energy, that there are times that mummy needs a break rather than him. And the other thing I always found with, I had two like that, is that anywhere that, I was going and I would like him to behave for at least 20 minutes, I made sure I run the gunk out of the motor beforehand. So either you don't run them behind the car, but you basically take him to a park or kick a ball around for 20 minutes before you go anywhere, so you can discharge some of that excess energy that is quite naturally building up in your boy. Lots of information on my website around our gorgeous boys. Good luck.
Right now we're bathing in the wisdom of Maggie Dent, and she's taking your calls.
Bathing.
Yeah, I got my clothes off, that's why. Crystal's in Alexander Heights. Crystal, meet Maggie.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Crystal.
What's the problem, Crystal?
I have two little girls, one 2-year-old and one 8-month-old. And my 2-year-old is always hurting my 8-month-old.
So specifically what's she doing, Dale?
She hits, she pulls her over, so she hits her head. Pinches, pulls hair,
Crystal, wait until they get older, mate. It's a Royal Rumble.
My brother snapped a broomstick across my back for no reason. So
Crystal,
anyway, back
Crystal,
to you.
what have you tried?
Originally, I tried Time Out.
Yeah.
But I had a look at a few of your resources and I started to try telling her that I won't let her hurt her and take her away.
Yep.
But I'm finding that very difficult because I'm trying to stop the 2-year-old while the baby
is
crying.
upset. Yeah. Beautiful. So you become a referee, don't you? So you don't actually have to take the 2-year-old away. So you hold her hand so she can't hit and hurt. And if you can, stroke her forearm gently, so that, because she's a 2-year-old, this is completely like irrational frustration. Why is this baby coming to my life when I had mum to myself? All sorts of stuff that a 2-year-old can't rationalise at any serious level. But they just get frustrated that they aren't the sole world because they're egocentric. They want all of you. So it's quite normal for this frustration to happen. So just stroke her arm as you hold her and say, and so in other words, there's a gentle, listen, there's the bubba. So just be really gentle around that in that moment again. And then you can have a hand on the baby and a hand on her as well, so that you're actually not separating her from the situation. Keep the endless dialogue going on, is that we love you both. You're both really special, so that she can see that and hear that, even though really it's the last thing after she's been awful. It does change. It is a phase. I know you're going to think, is it ever going to stop? Except, of course, as our wonderful Nathan has said, siblings will still tend to have moments like this. But we really need, this is an 8-month-old bubba, and you're probably not having an awful lot of sleep. So at the end of the day, your ability to stay nice and calm around it can be tricky. Also quite normal. The other one I think is, can you get both on your knees? I actually found that was best. I've got 2 knees, one on each. Just, at the end of the day, I've got both of you. Just do slightly different. So in other words, try not to punish, because she's actually not, there's not much control going on in a 2-year-old's mind. And all she wants is you. And so the baby wants you. So you got 2 knees and 2 arms. I'll just be using those and just trust
What if you got 3 kids in this situation? Where do you put the third one?
Yeah, well, she hasn't. So
that's the middle child. You leave them out.
Stop complicating
That's
things.
hilarious.
And and keep going. Trust me, it is going to better. When the little bubby's asleep, are you giving her some really constant, 10 or 15 minutes of one-on-one special time that the little one can't do? So stickers and gluing and colouring. Gradually that will resettle. Trust me, it's quite normal.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
It's Good Food Month here in Western Australia at the moment. Did you know?
That's good. I like good food.
This is awesome. And one of the things that we all like going to is the night noodle markets, which gets underway too.
Yes, we love that. In town for Good Food Month is none other than legendary chef. He's not in the whites today, but that doesn't matter because he's not cooking for us. Marco Pierre White, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
We're wonderful, Marco. Good to see you.
When you walked into the studio, I felt like we needed to bow to you. That's
you did.
I know, because I felt like I needed to.
Surprisingly, mostly he curtsies.
I had to bow to yourselves as well.
You wanted to be knighted.
Yeah.
I curtsied.
I feel like you've been around royalty a lot, have you?
No, not really.
Really?
No. I mean,
I've
spent time with them as a cook. I've been around them a little bit. I remember on a few occasions I've been to Highgrove, and the first time I went to Highgrove, I was quite nervous because I had to go and cook for Prince Charles.
Oh, wow.
And I turned up at Highgrove and I was really nervous Because I just spent my life in my kitchen, so to sort of cook outside of my kitchen was like a rarity for me.
Yeah.
It was like the first time I'd ever cooked for royalty as an individual rather than having royalty in your restaurant, which is
Yes.
different. And so I go to Highgrove and I sit in the car park for a long time. I'm petrified. Anyway, I have to go in that moment. And as soon as I walk in, they jump on me. Prince Charles wants to meet you. So I go through to his study. And one thing they always do is give you gifts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a signed photograph, signed book, Book of Highgrove.
They really like their own stuff, don't they?
And he started speaking to me in French.
Did he think that you were French because your name's Marco Pierre?
But I can't interrupt. And at the end, it seemed like he was talking to me for an eternity. It must have only been 30 seconds. And I turned around and said, I'm sorry, but I don't speak French. And he looked at his aides, and then he gave me these gifts and shook my hand. And then we had photographs, and then I disappeared. So I walked off. So I was quite interested in these gifts. And it said, Monsieur Pierre White, Monsieur Pierre White, Monsieur Pierre White. I thought, wow, they really thought I was French.
Right at the end, were you tempted to
No wonder
say...
they shoved me out back into the kitchen very
Were
quickly.
you just tempted at the end of that whole sentence to say, we?
I mean, it was just an extraordinary moment in my life.
But what, when he looked at those aides, what do you think happened to them at the end of the night? He must have gave them
I don't know.
talking to.
It ended rather rapidly.
Yeah.
And I had a photograph holding his book. Then I was gone.
Is it a common misconception? Do other people think
It's
that you're
amazing,
French?
but it's amazing how many people think I'm French. Maybe because of Michelin stars. I remember once I was in this restaurant. I was in this restaurant one day, and this waitress came up to me. She said, "Do you know who you look like?" I said, "I haven't got a clue." She said, "You look like Marco Pierre White." I said, "Really?"
It's uncanny.
She said, "But do you know how I knew you weren't him?" I said, "Tell me." She said, "Because you don't speak French." So it's extraordinary how many people think I'm French. But I'm not really, because my name, I've got this name, because what happened is I've got two older brothers, and they're called Graham and Clive. And shocking names. No disrespect to anybody who's called Graham or Clive.
No, but they're very
but mine was a
English
shocking
names.
name. So
yeah.
my mother, who's Italian, put her foot down. And she puts her foot down, obviously says, Frank, to my old man, I want to name the third child. So my father's a Yorkshireman. And so she comes forward with the name Marco Pino. And Pino was my great-grandfather, who obviously Mum was very close to.
Yeah.
And my father is told the name that Mum has thought of, Marco Pino. And you can imagine the conversation my father said in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
I'm not having my son called Pino. So I went back to the drawing board, and her sister then came back with the name Pierre. And so Marco Pierre was the name I was given.
You know what? It's like those families where you've got two kids. One's called Butterfly, the other one's Justice, and then they've got their sister Stacey.
Yeah.
It's just odd when there's two, when one name's completely different. It's like,
Well, trust me, in the 60s and 70s, Marco Pierre wasn't a great name.
Did you grow up in Yorkshire?
Yeah, I did. Can you imagine on a Leeds council
You must
estate?
have been so exotic.
No. They thought I was a freak, not exotic. It's not a bad name now, but I mean, in those days, it wasn't a great name. I wanted to be called Michael, Peter, Paul. I just wanted a normal
Something
name.
simple. Something
I didn't want
simple,
something so... Well, it was sort of a strange name.
wow, because I'm Nathan.
Good name now. I'm not complaining now.
I'm Nathan. My brother was Graydon, and I just thought Graydon is so different, and I was resentful about having a normal name. So I would
I know
love
Graydon's not as good as Nathan.
Do you think so?
Yeah, no, I think you got the. I think
I
the
think
long straw.
Nathan's the name of a butler.
But can I just say, aren't we here to talk about food?
We are.
Yeah, we are.
And
We
Food
are.
Month and
We are.
and the noodle market.
Yeah,
And
thanks for getting us
and
back
what
on
we're
track.
doing.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Vance Joy, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Vance.
Hello.
So happening?
Okay, so
Thanks for having me, guys.
No, it's lovely to have you. So there's Whoopi Goldberg's Karen, Pink's Alicia, and 50 Cent is Curtis. You're James. Who are you James to, and who are you Vance to?
I'm James to, I think, most people I meet, really. I think, like, when I'm on, radio or after shows, people are sometimes surprised. I think usually surprised if they find out my name's James. So I think mainly just for shows and music stuff. But if I'm on the street meeting someone for the first time, I say James.
Are we?
Really? Okay.
Are we ever a Jimmy?
I think I got Jimmy when I was playing football a bit, and I kind of like being Jimmy, but I don't think like any of my friends, like my old school friends, would have called me Jimmy. They all called me Keo, which was like my actual last name. So,
right, a Keo. There's always a footy team has a Keo, a Macca.
Yeah,
a Jono,
it's
Smithy,
compulsory.
obviously.
Yeah, or your team
Smithy,
doesn't work. So where did you get Vance Joy from? Like, is it? Did you read it in a book? Where did it come from?
Yeah, I did read it in a book.
Oh.
I was
He reads books, everybody.
I know the answer. Bliss by Peter Carey.
Yes, yeah, I did. I got it out of that book. I was at university and I was looking for. I guess I wanted to have like a stage name, especially because people, especially when they're reading out at open mic nights, reading out James Keogh, they would always say Keogh or Koch.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, didn't really have a really good zing to it.
Was it between Vance Joy and Harry Potter? Like,
Could have come on either way.
I couldn't find any like names that people. Imagine if I had a name from Harry Potter, it was like Ron Weasley or
Ron
like
Weasley. Neville Longbottom.
Neville Longbottom is
with Riptide.
Hey Vance, Nation of Two World Tour's kicking off, right? But we're having a look, and you are not coming to Western Australia.
Explain yourself, young man.
We are going to Western Australia, right? Should we go to Western Australia? Yeah, we're going. We're coming.
Not playing in Perth, I've got here.
No, we are. We definitely are.
All right. That's good.
Oh, well. There goes all the information and everything.
We were just going to attack you for 15 minutes. And now
I know. And now I've got nothing.
Oh. Well, there you go. No, I'm coming.
We can't wait till you get here.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, you have to change your tune now. You're like, it will be nice to see you, I guess.
What a ripping guy.
Well, if you need somewhere to stay, I've got a spare room, so just yell out, brother.
You don't have a spare room. They're full of children, sure. An interview from 2014, you claim to have had, I quote, a bit of a big head, like physically.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Yeah, Natalie and I come from big-headed people. How does it affect your life, Vance?
Look, it's hard. I guess obviously putting on a hat, I have to kind of like find a deep dish hat. Like I can't put on a shallow hat. And so that's once I find a hat that is deep enough to fit my whole deep dish hat.
We hear you. We know what it's like.
You know what the worst thing is? Have you been asked to ride a race car yet in any stage?
No, not yet.
That's embarrassing because they have to go to the back room and get the big helmets.
Yeah, and also
you guys are
like
amazing.
skydiving and things like that. You can't just spontaneously get on the back of someone's motorbike because they're like, oh, we don't
have a helmet for that.
Squeeze into the helmet and it's like, oh, this is really uncomfortable for everybody. We feel your pain.
It's a challenge. It
is, isn't it?
Hey Vance, what do you do with all the awards you've won over the journey? I'm wondering, is there a room at home that you hang them up? Because sometimes I used to have memorabilia hung up in a particular room when I was playing sport, and then people go, oh, he's digging his own work here, which I was, clearly.
Yeah. Like Elvis has the squash court full
but now
of awards.
I don't. Now I'm not allowed to put them up.
Oh, why?
My wife reckons,
He had too many children. They had to use the rooms for other things.
Sorry. Fair enough. I think, like, I have a couple of plaques and a couple of awards, and very proud to have won an ARIA 2 years ago. So that's actually in a cupboard. Oh, it's kind of on display. It's not like front and center. And there's a few plaques, but also like if there is too much Vance Joy stuff at home, like especially when me and my sister were both living at home for a period last year, she's like, can we just get this big plaque with like James's big mug like off the wall? It's just a bit too much.
Yeah, it's
and,
too much.
I'm like, yeah, too much. Like
you're like, that's
just
a platinum
couple of subtle
record.
things.
No, platinum's everywhere.
I'm in the same boat in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like listening to some of the songs off your new album, like We're Going Home sick.
Yeah,
cracking
awesome.
tune.
On your Instagram, you put little snippets up of I'm With You, which is going to be, everyone's going to get married to that, of course. And then Little Boy, about, amongst other things, you falling off a bike as a little kid.
Yes.
Tell me more.
We all fell off a bike. We can relate.
Oh my God, absolutely.
What happened next?
So what happened was I was about nine years old, and I was riding my bike around my local area, and I don't know how this happened, but I must have hit a rock or just hit something, and I went right over the handlebars, like flew over the handlebars, and then I knocked myself out, and I broke one of my front teeth in half.
Oh.
And then a nice lady was walking by and or driving by, and she saw me on the road and she picked me up and she's like, "Do you know where you live?" And I must have been kind of dazed and concussed, but I did know where I was, where my home was. So she took me home and ended up at hospital, and I ended up getting a few days later I got a tooth fitted, and they gave me a really big cap over my tooth, which was like, I think they gave me like the adult size tooth cap. So I always had like a slightly, I think I'm just growing into it now. Like adult
one giant tooth.
Yeah, it's lucky that my head grew so big because it could actually like fit the tooth.
Accommodate
It looks like Cletus from The Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly. It was Cletus for a few years, and then it even like, I know this is a long one, but I also it glows in the dark a little bit. So when I was at nightclubs when I was 18 and the big disco lights were on, this one tooth just shone out like a beacon. So,
but that's pretty good when you're like losing your mates in the nightclub and go, okay, I'll just go over to the speaker and then go right at Vance's tooth.
Probably less successful when you're trying to attract the ladies. I would think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really
it wasn't great.
It was like a beacon. That it was like a lighthouse bringing the ladies to his head.
I'm not sure if it's a winner.
They're not moths.
Because like the falling off a bike is really relatable, but you used to be, everybody, we get ready to be shocked, a rollerblader.
Yeah.
Why didn't you write
a
song about your rollerblading adventures?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's a little less of a universal idea, I guess. And it's a divisive thing, like I like rollerblading, but I also realize that puts you in a minority of people, and there's people that are like, good on you, like rollerblade, let's make a rollerblading gang and we roll around in a gang.
Yeah.
Like I've heard about this happening in New York where people get in groups where they rollerblade, they get a boombox, and there's like, like they're like, let's be solidarity, like don't worry what people say.
I used to be a rollerblader, and because there was a movie called Prayer of the Roller Boys about a rollerblading gang where they wore long jackets and rollerbladed. That was pretty much the movie. It was amazing. But I fell into the joke, I'm actually gay, so I'm allowed to.
Well, I think it's just it's so fun. I think unless you've really tried it and you've rolled around, just free from any kind of
with the wind in your hair.
Wind in the hair, exactly.
Wheels in a line.
People should be trying it. Yeah, it's never going to be cool though. I realize that it's never going to be really cool.
Do you still do it?
No, why?
I haven't done it for a while. I've kind of been skateboarding a little bit
stop trying to
burns you in the thighs. The first time you chuck them on, you just pull up so sore the next day.
Yeah, it's fine. They're not like, I guess the reason why skateboarding and bikes, you can get off them. Like rollerblades, they become part of your body. Like you can't like roll into the milk bar and get something. You can, but it's just like,
you're right.
Yeah.
Once you strap that ankle thing down, you go like around your thing. You go, okay, this is serious.
And you're also weirdly tall once you've got them on as well.
Yeah, and I'm like 6'3", so I'm like a 6'5" man in rollerblades.
Yeah.
Well, Vance, skateboarding's not easy too, being a taller guy, and you would have found that you don't seem to bounce that well off concrete the older you get.
No, I know. I'm very timid as well now on that thing. Like the idea of falling, it's like a long way down. So yeah, I've skated a little bit, and I've run into like younger kids like skating, and I like try and join their crew for a little bit. And they're like, just commit to the trick, and I'm like, I know, trick. But like,
I don't want to ruin my giant tooth.
It's bad drop-ins. Bugger
that. You have reportedly got a superpower. I read. You can place movies between 1999 and 2014.
I mean, I can. It's a very mild superpower because I can get in the ballpark.
Okay, well let's put a ball in your hand. Are you ready? The Dark Knight.
Oh, The Dark Knight. Okay, so Batman Begins came out in 2005.
Yeah.
And I reckon that The Dark Knight came out in 2000 and... Was it 2008?
Yes, it was!
Oh!
Okay.
Off to a good start.
You're doing very well. Okay. Fight Club.
Oh, Fight Club. Okay, so I remember watching Fight Club at a sleepover in 1999.
Yes!
Okay, wait there.
Amazing.
Let me see. Kill Bill, Volume 1.
Classic, by the way. Classic.
So I'm like, it's hard because I don't know if it's like, I know it's early 2000s, but maybe like, it's hard. Is it 2004?
2003. You're on
You're
it.
so
No, it's so
close.
close, so close. And what about The Hangover?
The Hangover. Jeez, I'm like, it's in my brain. I'm thinking 2009, 2010.
2009.
That is a superpower, Vance.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Andy
No, you guys make me
rollerblades.
feel good because I there's a couple of ballpark ones there, but
Only one.
No way. No way. You're thereabouts in every one.
That giant head is really paying off.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta say.
Long tooth, rollerblading, movie powers.
I know.
And he can sing.
Super cool.
Jeez.
yeah, I know. Wow, what a cool dude.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.